Hey YouTube, it's Jeff at Darkmoon Metals. Well, I have a little project in the shop and I want to try to get it done before tomorrow morning. It's late Sunday afternoon, and basically all I need to do is make up a spare tire rack for this trailer. So let's get started. Alright guys, well, we already have the spare tire for this trailer, we just need to make the rack. Now, this has two pre-drilled holes already in it, and that's what we're going to use for mounting points. Let's take a quick measurement. About 8 1/4 on center. Alright YouTube, here's the piece of metal I'm thinking about using for the base of the spare tire mount. Now, let's see here. Yeah, that's 1/2 inch thick by about, 1.5 inches. So 1/2 inch thick steel bar. Yeah, call me crazy, but I think that just might be strong enough for holding a spare tire onto a utility trailer. I don't know how well you were able to tell on camera, but these steel ribbons were starting to form as I was drilling out the holes. I had one person ask me, why does the drill bit do that? The simple answer is because this drill bit is actually sharp. If you apply constant pressure and keep your bit lubricated, you should be getting ribbons off of your drill bit when you're drilling into steel. It's a sign of consistency, it's a sign that your tooling is sharp, and you're going the proper speed. If you see a lot of little chips and flakes and things coming off, it usually means that your drill bit needs to be sharpened or you're pressing down too hard on the press. This right here is what you're looking for when you're drilling steel. So I figured that I would just show you and explain that. So I think it's pretty safe to say the drill bit I'm using is pretty darn sharp. So I ran into a problem. Now, the problem wasn't with drilling the holes, the problem's with the next step of the process. I want to cut that bar to length so it'll be the dimensions I want when I put it on the trailer frame. Now, for those of you who've been watching the channel for a while, know that I was really in love with a horizontal metal cutting bandsaw. And it was really nice. It had automatic shut off. You could kind of put a piece of stock in there, start cutting, walk away and do something else. The problem with this machine was the bearings started to go. And as the bearings in that main wheel started to wobble, it was breaking saw blades in the metal. Now, this isn't something I could have just run down to Home Depot and replaced. This is something I either had to drive about 2 hours away to go pick up, or I could, send away for it in the mail. I wanted something that had a little bit better of an option if I needed to replace a blade. Basically, I needed something a lot more reliable. So I'm scrapping the bandsaw because it's really not worth putting new bearings in. In fact, the remnants of it is here, ready to go to the scrapyard. I already scrapped the lower portion of it, and this is next to go. I'm probably going to bring this to the scrapyard tomorrow along with a bunch of other stuff I have lined up ready to go. But I'll show you what I replaced it with. Well, here she is. This is the new workhorse of the shop when it comes to cutting material. This is a DeWalt 15 amp metal cutting chop saw. It's not quite the same as a bandsaw, but for me it's just going to be a lot more reliable. And if something happens where I have to replace the blade, I can drive right down the street to Home Depot and find something that'll fit in this thing. They carry chop saws that are comparable to this. But I can also pick them up at my local Holcon dealer. Now, Holcon doesn't carry bandsaw blades to match what I used to have, but this, I actually bought this through Holcon. Got a really nice deal on it. I have an account with them, so I was just like, you know what, it's time. Now, this is brand new, right out of the box, has never cut anything. So this is going to be the maiden voyage. So let me go dig up a pair of safety glasses and we'll start getting this job done. Wow, I am liking that. Okay guys, I think you're going to see a basic idea of what I'm shooting for here. Now I got to drill some holes to accept the lugs that's going to hold the tire on the bracket. Alright guys, got this all nice and straight. Ground down the area where I'm going to weld to. My holes are nice and tight. And I took the time to just come in here real quick with a sander and round off any sharp edges on this. So next step, I'm just going to come in here and just, MIG weld these into place. Don't need to be anything special. It's not really holding a load or anything. It's just kind of to stabilize them, keep them from spinning when you're taking the tire on and off. So let's get that done. Hey guys, I'm taking a little bit of a break. I've been on the go pretty much since this morning, so I decided, hey, it's time for a cup of coffee. I'm having that age-old problem of having way too much blood in my caffeine stream. So I decided to take a little break. It's not like there's a huge pressure as far as time to get this job done. In fact, nobody was really expecting it to be done. A little bit of backstory. I used to own this trailer. In fact, this is the one that I used to move from Norwalk to Oxford to Torrington and then eventually back to Norwalk. When I moved back here, I didn't really have a use for it. My Boy Scout troop was looking for a trailer, so I said, hey, guess what? And the rest is history. They decided to purchase the trailer, and I got a little bit of cash out of it, so it was a win-win. This spare tire idea came from one of the gentlemen who helped purchase the trailer for the troop. And he had bought the spare tire. I had never had one. We had talked about getting a mount for it so we could put the tire outside the trailer. The way things are set up now, the tire is riding inside the trailer with all the gear. And, sometimes the guys are like, okay, let's get the gear in, and they forget and bury the spare tire up at the front of the trailer. So, it's kind of a pain in the neck if you actually did have to get to it. You'd have to unload half the trailer. So, this is one of those things that just should get done. And I happened to bring the trailer home tonight after our annual fundraising popcorn sale thing. I was supposed to drop it off tonight, but I can't find the tongue lock for the trailer, so I'm not going to leave it in a parking lot with no tongue lock on it because I don't want anyone to just kind of wander off with the thing. So I figured, hey, it's a win-win. The trailer's safe here at my house, I can get the spare tire mount done for it, and it's all good. But while we're on this subject of coffee, I've been on the go since this morning, and this isn't really like a time-sensitive thing, like I said. There are a lot of people in this country and around the world who work very, very, very hard, and they put hour after hour after hour into different things, whether it's their job, pursuing their dreams, raising a family. We all have some of that experience. But I do want to say this. If you feel tired or fatigued or anything like that, especially when you're in an environment like this, where you got power tools and welding equipment and hazardous gases, acetylene and oxygen, things like that, you really do want to just kind of put your tools down, grab a cup of coffee, take a couple of breaths, and, even if necessary, start doing it again the next morning. It's going to be here when you get back. I've seen people push themselves and push themselves and push themselves only to mess up a project in the last 20 minutes, and they have to start almost from scratch after like a whole 8-hour day. And it's not worth it. It's not worth your safety, it's not worth your project, and at the very end of it, it's not worth your sanity. There's a lot of people under so much stress in today's world, and, many of you who've been watching my channel know I want to start Darkmoon Metals because I want to be free of the whole rat race 9 to 5. So if I bring that mentality into my business, what am I gaining? Not really gaining much of anything. But yeah, I just wanted to sit, take a break, share a few minutes with you, but it's time to get back to work. All right, well, the coffee is definitely coursing through my system because I decided to change my design a little bit. Up here specifically, you may notice that it got a whole lot thicker up there. It's actually an inch thick now. What I did is I peened down the back of my welds on these bolts. I grind them down a little bit, and then I drilled divots into this top bar so it would sit rather flat, and then I welded the seam. Now the reason I thickened that up a bit is because I've decided I'm going to change my design just a hair. And I had to drill a hole really close to the end, and I wanted something a little thicker than what I had. I'll show you why in just a second. Well, okay guys, it's explanation time. So why did I beef it up so much? Well, okay, I'm actually a fan of overkill, but there is a reason behind it. I actually needed that extra little bit of space for what I wanted to install with the tire. Now, these two bolts line up with the holes, like so. So that'll fit in there nice and neat. But that hole up top that I drilled is going to be, there we are, for this pin. And this pin is going to sit right inside, and it's going to get plug welded from the back. So it's going to look pretty seamless when it's on there. Now the reason I'm installing that little pin is for something else that the trailer needs when we take it out with the Scouts, and that's a wheel chock. So when that pin is welded in place, it's not going to move around so much. But you can see the wheel chock stores right with the spare tire. And it's nice because now it's on the outside of the trailer, which means it's easy access, and we can chock the tire before we even have to open the door. So it's just an additional safety feature I decided to incorporate into the design. Alright folks, I just got this thing bolted on, all ready for tomorrow morning. As you can see, the wheel chock sits right out front. It's easy to get to. Don't have to dig around the trailer for it anymore. I think everyone's going to like that. Got it bolted right into the cross member where the regular spare tire mount is supposed to go. So that worked out well. Got plenty of room to get in behind the tire to get those bolts off if we ever do have to take the spare tire off. And there you have it. Nice little project for a Sunday night. But I'm going to head back into the shop and clean up a little bit. Alright guys, it's time to wrap things up. Got the compressor off, got my regulators purged, and all the equipment powered down for the night. And I'm going to try to get a little bit of sleep before I have to wake up again at 11:30. I'm picking someone up from the train station at, about midnight. And then I'm still going to be at work tomorrow around 7 a.m. So, yeah, I'm kind of a glutton for punishment. But I'm enjoying myself. I wanted to thank you guys for hanging out and spending time with me again and checking out this video. And I'd like to thank all of our new subscribers. We've got a lot more, and we're starting to get significant numbers almost every day. We finally hit 1,000 subscribers at the end of the month, and I am absolutely ecstatic. I never thought our little channel would make it this far, and I'm getting more and more comments and more feedback, and it's awesome. You know, keep it coming. Dana and I love to read it. And speaking of Dana, she just got back off of a trip. I'm hoping to get her back into the shop this week. She's been playing hooky long enough, so we'll see if we can get her finally behind the MiG. But until then, I'm going to call it quits and head into the house. But until our next video, this is Jeff at Darkmoon Metals. We'll see you again soon.